All right, let's get started. Howdy, howdy, howdy. So, really no updates since yesterday's meme review. I just posted this because I just thought it was funny because I have this coworker, right? And everybody has that coworker where like they just like word dump in the fucking team chat, right? So he's writing this light novel about like all the bad things that have happened to him, like oh woe was me and this that and the other thing, and it was literally like fucking 4 paragraphs. And I'm reading this, and I just don't care, dude. It's not that big of a deal. So I pulled this up and I took a screenshot of it in the word bar, and I sent it to my boss, and I said, "Would this be too mean?" And he was like, "Yeah, don't do that." So, um, yeah, fucking coworkers, man. Um, but yeah, um, so we had the last few chapters. And the very last chapter before these ones that I read were okay in Ghosts of Timkovichi. Um, then he's right back to form with these new chapters that I've read. So it's like, so you just get a we can have a good chapter as a treat, as a reward, you know. So I'm not so far again. It's like I knew this was going to happen. I'm like, you did it actually kind of an okay job with this. That's cool. And then immediately I just get punched in the liver by these next 3 chapters because it's just nonsense. So, like we do with every stream, we're gonna do a quick catch up as to the wither twos and the y fours of this book. So, in summary, we got the prologue. Calendar Kell goes to Timkovichi. Oh, 1 second. Have one of those. She has a name. Purple Nurple Trauma Dumps on the first contact. The Susanna Stonehawker one from one of the later chapters. That one blew my mind. The fact that she owns a hobby store in the Jade Falcon occupation zone that is still up and running and sells plastic model kits in Battletech miniatures, basically. And her name is Susanna Stonehawkers. So Susanna Stone Seller. So it's like what in the Ginyu Force name ass is this shit? So Stonehawktua. Yep. All right. So with the prologue, we have Calendar Kel. She goes to Timkovichi to kind of pay homage to the dead. She meets Brian Young, self-insert old Tom Frost, and he's like, "Hey, are you here to liberate the planet? There's only like 5 Jade Falcons here." And she goes, "Lol, Lamau," and then drops a monument off and just leaves. Um, then the next chapters we get introduced to or reintroduced because I'm actually not sure if this is even their first appearance. I don't think it is their first appearance in a book. It's just this is the first Ghost Dogs book that I've had the misfortune to read. So they're on a planet called Kirkaldi. They're working for a pharmaceutical company against these Jade Falcon holdouts. There's only like 3 of them. So they roll these people up using native flora and fauna when you could have just used explosives. But oh, Majopi, this is not yet begun to suck. No, JC, this is literally the first one that I've inflicted myself with. And the story for those that are unfamiliar with, this is like an accountability thing. So, I came across in my civilian Facebook feed, Brian Young was shilling author signed copies of the novel. So I reached out to my fans, to my community on Facebook, and I said, "Hey, if somebody donates the cost for this book, I'll pay shipping, and I will buy this, and I will read it on stream." So somebody did it. So I'm however the hell many streams of accountability into this now. having fun with it though, because it's like, damn, this is a terrible book. Um. So, anyways, so the next so all these, we didn't learn that we had a miserable time together, but clubbing Fox Patrol. Oh God, yeah. Oof. Yeah. I am a masochist, but it's all in the name of good fun, so it's worth it. Good evening, Gavin. How's it going, man? So, anyways, so they round up these three teenage Jade Falcons that are kind of left, quote unquote, holding this planet for the Jade Falcons, and the Colonel Mallory gets the word from Calendar Kell, hey, come home, come back to Ark Royal. We're getting the band back together, basically. So she's like, so everybody goes. They go to Ark Royal. Calendar Kell says, hey, your son wants to come with you on this mission to Timkovichi, and Hank Mallory is like, oh God. And because he was there when the Jade Falcons nuked one of their cities, right? So anywho, she's like, hey, your son wants to go with you. You haven't seen or talked to him for 10 years, but he wants to go with you. And he's like, okay, can you send his mech with him? And Calendar Kell is like, lol, no. And no reason given. Like, there's no reason. Just none whatsoever. So they go on, and oh Jesus, it's Calendar, right? C-A. How the hell is bitch speller? It's in the first chapter here. Calendar Kell. It's like CLL. It's like Charlie Alpha Lima Echo Nancy Dog Romeo Echo. So it's like calendar. And for the record, I've actually been told I have a strange accent because my parents are from Indiana, not because I'm from Detroit, although there's a lot of factors that could be contributing to me sounding like a fucking mushmouth. So please and thank you. Anyways, so they're on their way to Timkovichi, and they get word. Colin Derp. So they're on their way to Timkovichi, and they get word from a passing dropship from one of their agents on Timkovichi, like, hey, the Lyrans are already there, and the Jade Falcons are there, and they're basically fighting over the scraps, right? So he has 9 days to plan for this contingency, and before they hit dirt, and he just fucking doesn't. So you just see how tactically brilliant this guy is. And then chapter 12 is probably one of my favorite chapters in this book for all the wrong fucking reasons. Chapter 12 through 14, because you get introduced to a character that was introduced to in the prologue named Old Tom Frost, who is a journalist, guitar player, singer, songwriter. Like he wants to be Dr. Banzai from Dr. Banzai in the Eighth Dimension so fucking bad, but he's doing it the most like lame millennial way possible, right? And he just comes off as like a dickhead. So basically for 3 chapters, you have Brian Young engaging in the typical millennial Gen X, like food coffee fetish, where they talk about the food. They talk about the coffee. They talk about, how the food makes them feel, all the while they're exposition dumping, right? So, and it's just like, this is fucking tedious. Like, bro, you don't need, like, you can say they went to a diner, their food came, they started to eat it, and then no, that's fine, Gambit. That's totally good. Probably I wrote you the setting. It's funny because so for those who don't know the whole Dr. Banzai shtick that I have going on here, right? So the origination for that was obviously the movie Buckaroo Banzai, right? And fucking nobody saw that movie except like the FASA writers, the original writers that created BattleTech. So they actually wrote him in to BattleTech as a mercenary, it was a company. It was a company, or no, it was a regiment. So they were working for the Federated Sons, and um, they had to actually write him out of the story because they were fresh off the lawsuit from Harmony Gold for using the original unseen mech designs. So they didn't kill him. They just like, oh yeah, no, he retired. He's teaching at NAOS now. New Avalon Institute of Science. So that's how they got around it. And now he's trying to, like, Brian Young is trying to bring his own weird self insert back into the fucking thing, right? Past Dark Age, is there any? So that's actually a tricky question. So anything by Brian Young is atomically bad. Jason Schmetzer, he's a really solid writer. I really like Michael Sierravella. He wrote Trial of Birthright. And I believe before Blaine Pardoe, they stopped sending Blaine Pardoe work. He actually wrote the Ill Clan like novel book, that the Ill Clan source book, the Invasion of Terra by the Jade Falcons and whatnot. He wrote that book, and that book was fucking all killer, no filler. Like, there's good writing if you want to look for it, but it's like picking through shit to find corn, right? Yeah, Buckaroo Banzai is amazing. Yeah, Banzai was in the Dr. Banzai was in the Warrior trilogy. So, anyways, so we have this whole like three three chapter arc of them, talking stuff over and having this food ritual going on. And so later on, what happens is Mallory has the bright idea, okay, we need to go do some recon. We need to, don local clothes, and we got to infiltrate these cities held by the Lyrans and by the clans, and we have to make contact with the resistance. Wait, there's a resistance on this world? Yeah. You never heard about it because the book just fucking told you in these latest chapters. Like, this was a non-existent thing. So you have Mallory taking these 3 Jade Falcons that they had captured back on Kirkcaldy and doing this basically this clandestine infiltration work. And you're sending clanners who have no social graces, that stand out like a sore thumb. You're sending them to do like quiet work, right? Where it's like, that's stupid. That's stupid. You shouldn't be doing that. And so on this little escapade, they find out that there's more Falcons than they initially thought, and there's a lot more Lyrans than they initially thought. Then the next chapter, 15, Stained with Blood and Whiskey. Oh God, it's like Brian Young tried to write Roadhouse. It's like way more pronouns and gay. Like, it's so fucking bad, right? So they go to so one of the guys from Mallory's the Ghost Dogs, Rufo, and Scotty, they go bar hopping to find these mystery mercenaries that they had run into when they first initially landed on the planet, right? So they're going around, and they're basically getting shit faced as they're going from bar to bar, which is like, if you're going to bar to like get like intelligence, you probably shouldn't be drinking. But this is Brian Young, and he needs to engage in every fucking terrible, awful trope he possibly can. So they start. So they find after like the 6th bar, they find these guys called the Agile Rabbits. They're called the Lapin Agile, or probably that's French for Agile Rabbits. I don't know. So Rufo uses his wiles, and he rizzes up this twinkish bar they them. Literally, it says this person is of indeterminate gender, and it's like, god damn, dude. And they find out that these guys are actually working from working for the Lyrans. So they're like, okay. So then chapter 16 is kind of like an admin chapter where Mallory and company kind of figure out what to do next. And then chapter 17, we see Mech Warrior Coot and the head of the Jade Falcons on Timkovichi. They're like, oh, there's this, we have a convoy being raided by the Lyrans, in air quotes. So he goes out, he finds this mech that's fighting against the Lyrans, which are actually the ghost dogs in disguise, and it's Chingmai, who is one of the Jade Falcons that they had captured back on Kirkcaldy. And she's like, yeah, no, I'm gonna defect to you guys. And they're like, all right. So Mech Warrior Coot, who's got a grand total of like 5 Mech Warriors, he's like, okay, I have no problem with that. So he snaps her up. And then chapter 18 is called Just Make It Rain, and we get our introduction to Aletha Hellgate, who is Aletha Hellgate, the Lyran general, is mean. You wouldn't be able to tell that from her last name. But so she's kind of doing her social general thing, eating her feelings. And again, the chapter spends like an inordinate amount of time talking about what she's eating, what the texture is. Like, bro, I do not fucking care what this cow is shoving into her maw. Get to the book. What the fuck are we doing here? So she gets word that the Jade Falcons, in extra strength air quotes, because again, it's the ghost dogs trying to cause friction between the Falcons and the Lyrans, and attack a fortified outpost, basically like a big, huge, like concrete, flak tower that they have set up, ringed with artillery and anti-aircraft guns, and presumably staffed with a bunch of people. And so they run out, try to pin the Jade Falcons down, or the Ghost Dogs down. The Ghost Dogs fuck off, and they're like, "Oh, that's weird." And then all of a sudden, this tower just explodes. Why? Don't know. So chapter 19, Cross-Legged Knights, sees Mech Warrior Coot rescuing Chingmai, and rescuing in air quotes Chingmai. So basically Chingmai kind of puts the word in his ear like, hey, the Lyrans are lining up a big attack. You should probably do that. So Coot scrambles his resources, and then Aletha Hellgate, she begins to like, okay, well, clearly the Jade Falcons want to take another swat at us, so we're gonna go to their city, and we're gonna fuck them up. So they do. So she actually goes out and starts lining up her forces. In chapter 20, Hatful of Rain is probably the best chapter in this book, because it talks about the strategic choices that both Aletha and Coot make, because they're basically playing blind chess, which is kind of a thing that Battletech does a lot in a lot of their books, where it's like, okay, you'll have a part of the chapter where it's like Commander A, and it's like, well, given all the tactical circumstances, this is what I think we should do, and this is where I think how the enemy is going to respond. And then you have the second half of the chapter, or like where it's like the opposing commander B goes, okay, based on what I know about this unit, the proclivities, they're going to be here, and this is how we do it. And then you have the chapter afterwards that actually puts rubber to road, and that's a pretty decent formula for Battletech, right? And he does it okay. And so, a broken clock tells the right time twice a day. The blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. Ugh. So I'm going to read Dragonfall, but that's about a non-binary assassin falling for a dragon. What? No reference for drinking senses in youth. That is actually a good fucking point, actually. That is a very valid point. Dragonfall would make you normal, but yeah. Cozy fantasy things in my sci-fi war book. I don't know what it is, dog. It's like if if you watch anything written by somebody like between the age of like 30 and 40, it's like they have somebody that grew up like pre-internet. They have this weird fetish for like food and drinking and partying and whatever. And it's like, bro, grow the fuck up. Did he not read The Clans Don't Do Static Defense? That was a bunch of shit. The Falcon incursion on how they hot dropped on a command post. Yeah. So it kind of makes sense in this. It actually addresses that. And it's actually one of the few fine points of this book, good points of this book, is they actually address Mech Warrior Coot's predicament, where he's like, okay, the Jade Falcons took all of our good warriors and most of our good shit and just fucked off planet, right? So it's like, okay. So he's kind of having this internal dialogue where he's like, well, if I go after them and the Jade Falcons did indeed lose the Oak Clan trial, then I'm gonna die. You know, the wolves are gonna kill me. And then he says, but if she didn't lose and she did win, she's gonna come back here asking, hey, why don't we have all this why didn't we have this planet's resources exploited? And she would kill him. So he's really in like between a rock and a hard place, and he's like the middle. He's like an employee that got voluntold that he's in charge now, right? So he doesn't necessarily want the responsibility. He doesn't necessarily appreciate the responsibility. He's just kind of fucking there. So that brings us to chapter 21, Rains in the Hole. That's what she said. So anywho, so it starts off with, so the situation is basically the city that they're in, the Jade Falcons are in, is ringed with, like, has artillery batteries on it, right? So what happens is the Lyrans had the option to, okay, either fly over the city and possibly get hit by this artillery on the way down, or they can land far enough away outside of the artillery umbrella, march in, and then, you know, attack the city that way. So they elect to land far away from the city. Coot shuts off one of the main roads with barricades, basically roadblocks, improvised roadblocks, and turns kind of the one city entrance that the Lyrans have available into a giant kill box, right? So, okay. So that's kind of the setup for this. So you have Mech Warrior Coot. He's basically given a big crank turner of a speech to his warriors. He's like, oh, we're gonna kill those dirty sons of bitches. We're gonna use their blood to grease our gears and this, that, and the other thing, right? He doesn't actually say that. I'm just riffing off of the movie Patton. So he's doing this, and he's getting all emotional, which is like, bro, Clanner, this isn't how Clanners work, dog. Come on, dog. Clanners aren't all up in their feels in this shit. That don't make no goddamn sense. So he does this, and he starts walking down to his mech to get ready for combat. And he hears a voice, because there's basically nobody else on this dropship, because this dropship is like grounded because it has no spare parts, right? So it can't actually launch. So he's walking through these empty corridors, and he hears a voice. He's like, okay. So he keeps getting closer, and he hears fingers on a keyboard, and he throws open the door, and he realizes it's Chingmai, the Jade Falcon that was captured on Kirkcaldy, that's now working for the Ghost Dogs. She's feeding them the Ghost Dogs intelligence on what the Falcons are doing. So he's like, ah. So Chingmai is like, they suspect nothing. It will work. I will report when I have another chance. And then, you know, basically it's, you know, like you're catching somebody like in the act, right? They're dead to rights. So Clan Care Bear, or the Rainbow Spades labors. He did not. That's just me being lazy. When I'm speaking, so that's my bad. Um, so he goes and he sees Chiang Mai doing this, and he pulls his pistol, and he's like, what are you doing? And why are you selling us out to the Lyrans? And she's like, yo, dog, I don't work for the Lyrans. I actually work for the Ghost Dogs. And this is where, like, Brian Young doesn't really understand clan honor. So he says, then what have you done? Why have you sold us out to the Lyrans? I have not. Lies, I heard you. Confusion twisted through Coot. Chiang Mai had known all the right things to say to be taken as clan, to appear as clan. She was clan. He knew that as well as anything. One could not simply fake being clan, even one so young, especially one so young. There was something more to this, and he wanted to get to the bottom of it. The very fate of the remaining Jade Falcons could depend on it. Palms slick with the sweat on the... Yeah. His palms slick with the sweat on the grip of the laser pistol, he hesitated. Knees weak, arms unsteady, vomit on his sweater already, Mom spaghetti. So he says, what do you care about the Jade Falcons? Coot asked. She said. The quiver in her voice told him she spoke the truth. Then tell them neg. She set her jaw and shook her head. I cannot do that, MechWarrior Coot. That would be Desgra. Then you will die. We all have to die sometime, she said. So be it. He raised the pistol, unsure if he could bring himself to pull the trigger. Bitch, fuck you. You literally caught this chick red-handed. Like, you literally catch this chick red-handed, and you catch this chick red-handed. You're a Jade Falcon. She's betrayed you. She's dishonored you, and she's dishonor on you, dishonor on your clan, dishonor on your cow, right? Like this is not a hard decision for Homeboy. It's like, it would have been just boom. There's no like, what moral quandary? What he's been literally fighting and killing people his entire goddamn life, and he's probably killed people for a lot less. But all of a sudden, it's like, what? Explain. How can you do this? So now he's unsure, right? She raised her head high, as befit the Jade Falcon meeting their fate. Now, this is actually the Ghost Dog trying to still talk to her over the radio. Chiang Mai, do you copy? Do it, she told him. Turn around. Neg, if you want to shoot me, you will have to do it facing me. You may think I am Desgra, but I was taken honorably as one of them, and ordered to do this. This is my read now. If you shoot me in the face, it might be your read, but it will... If you shoot me in the face, it might be your read, but it will still be the actions of a Desgra Surat. Shoot me in the back, and it will be more so. There is no escaping it. Bitch! You literally betrayed your clan. You were Desgra like 4 times over, and you think this guy gives a shit? Like, about, like, the minutiae of this? Like, what in the fuck, dude? Come on. So Coot's mind raced. She was right. No, she's fucking not. Kiss my ass. The least he could do was face her when he did it. If he did it. If? Bitch, if? Her eyes did not grow wider. They held no fear or panic. They were calm, at peace. She knew what was coming and was comfortable with it. She had made her choice. And that meant Coot had made his choice as well. In another life, you would have made an excellent Jade Falcon. The best, she said and closed her eyes. Let's just soak in the pain. I think I told this last stream, but I had to take like a humanities thing in community college, right? And it's like, it was like the most bullshit class ever. It was called literally music appreciation. And this guy would say, let's listen to this music. We just listen to music, classical, pop, punk, whatever. So we'd be listening to this, and he's, let the music wash over you. So we're just letting the fucking cringe, let the cringe wash over you guys. Oh, it's fucking awful. Oh, I have douche chills. Anyways, so Coot pulled the trigger, firing a hole into her chest, searing through the Jade Falcon patch, twice firing through her heart, her eyes open wide as life left them. Through what regretful eyes, he fired a third time just to be sure. It was done. Dude, don't be sorry about this tricky ass bitch. Man, whatever, dog. So the moment gets interrupted, and he, as angry as he was about her deceit and betrayal, she had acted like a warrior with dignity and honor, even if her actions were not fitting of a warrior. She had become a bondsman and had done what she was ordered to do, and had performed admirably. Admirably. Jesus. He could be angry at them for the position they put her in, for what they asked her to do, or what they turned her into, but that was not her fault, and he would not blame her for it. Instead, he would avenge her. Kneeling down, he cradled her softly in his arms. Selah, little warrior, he whispered to the young warrior. This warrior used twice in a row like that. It's awkward. Delicately, he closed her lifeless eyes as his chin quivered. He would need to wipe the tears from his eyes and get his mech to fight in one more time, but first he had to finish this one. Selah. Gentlemen, Michael Stackpole could never write a scene so emotionally fucking charged. The death of Boromir, written by Tolkien, held less emotional resonance than the death of this literal fucking Who character. Let's catch up on some of these chats. So far, you're describing this. I'm glad read Blood Avatar multiple times and compare this. Blood Avatar, yeah. Can't take the boy out of Detroit, but can't take Detroit out of the boy. I fucking hate Eminem because he's such a fucking poser. Because he was like, he didn't grow up in Detroit. He grew up in Detroit and it was like he was like 13 or 14. Like he came from like fucking Missouri or some goddamn place. I really hate that he's like, oh, I'm from the D. It's like, bro, no, you're not. It's like Kid Rock when they're like, yeah, I'm from Detroit. Where are you from? I'm from Detroit, dog. Tell the truth, Romeo. Shut the fuck up, man. Come on. Just finished a book. Had a guy fake being a clanner with a group. Had a guy fake being a clanner with the help of a clan bondsman. Yeah. Talking about a betrayed Jade Falcon. She did. Oh, yeah, she died. Jade Falcon, pull trigger, done. Exactly. Welcome to New Battletech, where planetary invasions can be decided by piss poor dialogue and a single grenade. Bro, totally. Suddenly, the Green Jade Falcon are 3 sizes. You may think compassion, but you may think compassion, but no, a defect in the Iron Womb began and being written so horrible. Yeah. Had to puke in the toilet. Understandable. What is this crap? Brian Young, Grammar Crimes, the novel. Yeah, dog. So that's so yeah, Chiang Mai is dead. I give him credit because I thought he was gonna puss out and not kill her. So if we're calling balls and strikes, which I like to do with my channel and with my Facebook page, that was good. That was, he missed all the other pitches. Like but if we're calling balls and strikes, that was a ball. That's fine. But yeah, no, the fact that he writes his male characters who are supposed to be hard driven commanders, people who are in positions of authority, he writes them like women. It makes them hyper emotional for some reason, and I don't understand. I don't understand why he does that, because it just ruins like I actually liked McWarrior Coot, and now I'm just like, bro, what the fuck are we doing? I actually liked him as a character because so far he's been the most interesting character in the book. It's like, okay, come on, dog. So, anyways, chapter 22. This is war. Actually, give me a second. This bothers me. Because I have is war. So I think I understand what Brian Young is doing. So I think he is using song lyrics or song titles for the names of his chapters. So, or movies. So, for example, chapter 22, This is War, that's the name of a song by 30 Seconds to Mars. So just have that knocking around in the back of your head, is that every one of these chapters is named after like a fucking pop culture reference. I think we discussed it a little bit when we were talking in chapter 12, and that was called, I believe that was called Nighthawks. Yeah, Nighthawks, which is a reference to the famous diner photo, or the famous diner painting of people where it's late at night and it's an empty street and they're all in a diner. Spruce's Cafe Latte. He has a flat white because he doesn't like black coffee because saying black is racist or some shit. I don't know. I give up. This fucking guy. So, anyways, chapter 22, we get some really bad mech fighting. So they kind of talk about how it's raining, it's driving storm, and they focus on Aletha Hellgate, where she's in a griffin and she's fighting the Jade Falcons. The Jade Falcons are basically playing area denial tactics. They're doing ambush and whatnot. Song that for its own soundtrack. Oh, dude, absolutely. Like there's a couple of chapters here where it's literally like the title of a lyric from a Tom Waits song. So you just know he had some shitty millennial Spotify playlist, and he was just listening to this shit, writing this garbage, going, yeah, this is fucking deep, bro. So she's fighting. The Jade Falcons are dropping artillery on them every chance they get. It's like any of those missions in MechWarrior 5 where there's artillery on the field, where you're walking and all of a sudden the red circles appear on the fucking ground and you just lose half your armor, and it's like your lance mates are just like lobotomites, so they just want I wonder what this big red circle is for. I don't know, and then just gets erased. So that's basically what's happening. Is they're fighting this out, and she talks about a locust being annihilated. She didn't know the name of the pilot, but she would soon send their family a letter of condolence for their sacrifice that would accompany a Commonwealth Medal of Honor to tell them how valorous their child had been and how important the battle was for the safety and security for the Commonwealth. What she would not tell them was that the child died in a blink in the mud during a battle that served as nothing more than a stepping stone for the next stage in their campaign to take back a world the Archon had lost because of what Aletha viewed as her diplomatic paralysis. That's actually a decent line. It is one of the Dark Age ones. It's one of the Dark Age ones with heavy armor, because the Lyrans like their heavy armor. I don't know what the configuration is. I don't think it actually says in the book. Meet Brian, you should tell him that your culture is not his book settings. Exactly, bro. Well, so a funny story. So this is an author signed copy, right? So I got it and I open it, and the dedication on the first page says to Dr. Banzai in my government name. It says, remember, wherever you go, there you are. So he fucking knows who I am, which is a teeny bit scary. just a little bit, but um, but I don't think he would do anything as loathsome as dox me. Like I think honestly, this guy, like, as much shit as I give him, he is prolific. He's put out like 5 fucking books in the last like 3 or 4 months. Like, I don't know what his pipeline looks like, but he's insanely productive, and that's probably why the quality of these books is so goddamn low. He needs to slow the hell down. It's about quality, not quantity. So, anyways, so they're doing all this stuff. They're dancing. They're dancing with the Falcons. And then we finally actually get the name of the unit that she's in charge of. It is the Ark Royal Militia 3rd Hussars. So this is literally the first time we get a name for her unit. I am Dr. Banzai. Yeah, we are all Dr. Banzai, exactly. So she's trying to get the mercenaries to clear the way and kind of take some of the pressure off, but they're actually not doing really well. And then she finally says, well, these artillery pieces are killing us. Hey, dropship, get into the sky and take some low passes over the city. And the dropship captain was like, it's a bad idea. If we get hit by something, we can fall in the city and kill thousands of people. So you have her basically saying, yeah, I don't care, get your ass off the ground. So they start taking low passes over the city, and they're taking out artillery pieces. And it never says like how many or what type of artillery pieces these are. They're just artillery in air quotes. So this dropship makes like 4 or 5 passes during this entire time, and finally it kind of picks up to where MechWarrior Coot is, and Coot's like, well, we can't necessarily fire on the dropship, because if fire on the dropship, it's going to kill a bunch of civilians, and that would cause more problems for their limited numbers than they actually need. So I actually think, even though, because it's pretty explicitly stated that he's not one of these hardcore Mongol doctrine fanatics, which is probably one of the reasons why he got left behind. So like that actually makes sense for the character to go like, okay, we could do this, but we don't have the resources to clean up the city from a dropship exploding in downtown, right? So I actually think that's a good move. So towards the end of the chapter, MechWarrior Coot and Aletha, they start squaring off, and they're fighting, and they're ducking and dodging and weaving and diving. And then they get word from home base, the city that the Lyrans were operating out of, and they're like, oh my god, we're under attack. And she's like, by the Jade Falcons? And she's like, no, somebody else. So obviously it's the ghost dogs, right, they're fighting. And then chapter 23, the killing has intensified. So MechWarrior Coot is doing the damn thing. He's actually, dropships are cast vehicles. Yeah, exactly. And I'm trying to picture like how they would do it, because I'm just picturing it like, because it's like a Union dropship, right? So it's a spheroid, so the thrusters would be pointing down. So I'm just picturing this thing just kind of like drifting, and like doing like laps in the air. And it's just like the visual is just like really retarded in my head. Like, what this? So it's not how things work. It's a Union class dropship. It's got space for 2 aerospace fighters. I'm just saying. So, anyways, so MechWarrior Coot, he's putting in the work. He's killing Lyrans. He's doing the damn thing, and he gets to, let's see. So basically the Lyrans are like, okay, home base is going to attack. We're going to send the mercenaries who are in fast hovers to go take it back, try to take it back or defend it. So they're on their way back. So it's just the Lyrans versus the giant the versus the Lyrans, and so it's just now the Lyrans and the Jade Falcons. So as they're fighting, he comes across Aletha, and he starts fighting her, and they start shit talking because it's supposed to have established like, oh yeah, this is not the first time that they've met in combat, blah 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 blah. So it was really awful, like fucking Marvel slop dialogue between like two characters. I dare you to run now, Hellgate, he snarled, trying to anticipate her move, assuming she would limp in a semicircle to meet him in combat. Coot jumped again and landed behind her, or behind where he thought she would be. But instead of trying to face him, he thought perhaps she was trying to retreat. But now he stood in her way. They fired at each other with everything they had, battering and carving into each other's armor. Coot set his radio transmitter to open broadcast. I see you finally found the courage to face me, Lyran Surat. Unlike you, I do not need to bait a trap like a coward, the Griffin pilot replied. Unless he was mistaken, the voice dripping with venom belonged to General Aletha Hellgate. Jesus, Book, we've already been over this. We know who she is. I have no need to bait you, he told her, and it was true. Every attack you make against a superior foe like the Jade Falcons is a trap. Like, what in the fucking anime writing is this bullshit? Oh my god. Your deception has already failed, she spat. My mercenaries are en route to Meyer to foil your plot. You have no honor. Coot's brow furrowed in puzzlement at her words. What deception is she referring to? You would not know the meaning of the word. So basically, they're fighting, they're dancing, they're trading shots. They're trying to maneuver. And then this part is really kind of awkwardly written, and it took me like a couple of reads through to kind of really understand what was going on. It is time to end this, Coot thought as he slammed down on his jump jet pedals. Seeing his Gyrfalcon leaping into the air over General Hellgate's mech. As he soared through the air, he feathered his jets enough to turn around in midair, intending to land with all of his weapons facing her unprotected back. It was a move he had practiced dozens, no hundreds of times. It had never failed him yet. He landed behind her, or thought he had. She had nimbly turned on the pavement and met him nose to nose, gun to gun. Staring right into each other's cockpits, they unleashed hell. At least this was the way things were meant to be. No more at least this was the way things were meant to be. I feel like that should have been at last, not at least. No more artillery or cannon fire. No more missiles from above. Just one mech against another. The skill of one warrior against the next. Lasers flashed bright through against the rainy night. The report of the autocannons boomed. Coot remembered distinctly seeing a jagged line of lightning, bright blue, illuminate the gloomy sky behind the Griffin and crash down somewhere in the distance. Behind the buildings and beyond the city, it brightened each drop of rain as if each one had a purpose as it floated to the ground between her Griffin and his Gyrfalcon. Coot blinked. Another flash lit up the night sky, and he saw inside the Griffin's cockpit. Before the flash, the cockpit was there, whole and intact, and in the next moment, it was split in two, letting in all the water from the angry Timkovichi sky. He thought for the sparest of moments he saw General Hellgate there. Not screaming like he imagined she would be, but calm, at peace, centered and focused on what was happening. Fine with the outcome of the battle because she had fought it as best she could. He was impressed that she had second-guessed his move and had not allowed him to get behind her. Coot was worried she might have had enough firepower to crack his mech open, too. His armor had dwindled to nothing more than a razor-thin sheet in places. In others, his inner structure and myomere was exposed to the elements. Thunder pealed, and upon closer inspection, he saw that the pilot did not look like General Hellgate. Instead, he saw the face of the young Jade Falcon, Ching Mai. Oh, God! Jesus Christ. He blinked, unsure what he had seen, and then he heard the alarm klaxon sounding. He had missed those before. He felt a rush of pain and moisture. Same, to be honest. Same. Was it the rain or the blood? Coot's last thought was that if this was the way he went out, at least it was as a warrior, and he had taken his opponent with him. And then his whole world went black. Nothing mattered. No honor, no glory, not the Jade Falcons, not the Lyrans, not Timkovichi. Nothing. If he had not known better in life, perhaps he would have realized it was all for naught, and his time on Timkovichi in the world as a Jade Falcon in life was over. Giant hamster death ball blow drying the terrain to slap a mech with top mounted Gauss laser. Yeah, bro, I don't know. Somebody actually posited that because there was a lot of parts in the book, especially the less so in the current in the later half of the book, but it kept so like he had established things in like the initial chapters, right? And then like he kept referencing those characters and like trying to reestablish those characters that we had just learned about a couple of chapters back. And then what he also would do is there was a point where they were like they hit Timkovichi, the ghost dogs land on Timkovichi, and they're like, hey, what are we gonna do? You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make sure those clan warriors that we captured that were actively fighting a guerrilla warfare operation, that were fighting us tooth and nail before we captured them, we got to see how they perform under fire. So it's like, did you guys capture like 3 different clanners that like didn't know what was going on somewhere, and you just didn't fucking tell me? So because that's the other thing about this book too, is that yeah, bro. So that's the other thing about this book is that how do I put this? It does this thing where nobody makes good decisions, I guess, for lack of a better term, and like everybody seems to have like amnesia. It's like again, earlier part of the book when Calendar Cal like calls him like, "Hey, you got to come back to Ark Royal. We got a job for you." He tells this to the people that are under his command when like most of the people under his command were actually aware of their origins, and so like none of them left because they were like, dog, we knew this already. This is fucking old news. So, so it's just one thing right after another, and it's just this constant weird loop. This loop of like people telling stuff that you've already told the reader, but that you haven't told the characters yet. When you should be doing a thing where you have the characters talking to each other to inform your readers. So he does that a lot. And so like he'll say like Jade Falcon, blah, blah, blah. And then like he'll go in and say, you know, the Jade Falcons, blah 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 blah. They did this, that, and the other thing. When you literally just read, excuse me, Jesus. I think I start needed doing like vocal warm-ups or like mouth exercises before I start doing this because my tongue gets in the way. That's what she said. Anyways, so you have this weird feedback loop of he tells you something as the omniscient narrator, and then the characters talk about that thing that he just told you about, thus rendering one or both parts of that one or the other part of that chapter like completely redundant. Like this book I could probably have shaved off like an easy 10 chapters of the goddamn thing just by eliminating all of the looping conversations and stuff like that. So a spicy smut had to be done by Chat GPT. We would certainly know it was Grok. Yeah, exactly, dude. Grok. That's I saw that screenshot like before I jumped on here, and I was like, bro, what the fuck is going on? It's a real workout. You wouldn't understand. Clearly, I am simply a peasant that with no knowledge of such things. But yeah, this has been this is just a terrible slog. Like I just can't. Like I'm literally at a loss for words. I literally have nothing. It's because it's again this constant loop of you know of like people retreading stuff and then like characters acting like they have amnesia and like if you need to establish something like that like oh the ghost dogs because like he does this a couple of times where he's like oh the ghost dogs were actually the second battalion of the Kellhounds second were originally this part of the original Kellhounds and it's like okay cool and then like he keeps harping on that and like the interpersonal dialogue the interpersonal interactions have been pretty uniformly dog shit none of the characters are interesting they're it's like they're written to be a mile wide but they're about an inch deep and you have I gather my thoughts here and then you have this weird dichotomy of like sometimes you'll get an interesting character that actually isn't a mouth breathing fucking oxygen thieving moron like MechWarrior Coot. I actually liked that character so up until these last chapters, and now he's fucking ruined for me because I realized that, again, Brian Young writes his male protagonist very feminine and with a lot of feminine traits and a lot of feminine emotions, whereas, he's a mech. He's a Jade Falcon. He's a mech warrior. He's literally nearing Saloma age, like. Granted, he's not like a Mongol doctrine like monster like the rest of the Jade Falcon, like most of the Jade Falcons were at this time. But at the same time, he's one, still a Jade Falcon, and two, he is still a clanner. Like, lock that shit up, bud. Lock in. There's no reason for you to be crying over this woman who betrayed you to your enemies. And the fact that Chiang Mai was like, oh, you're Desgra, and he's like, the first words out of his mouth would be like, no, I'm not. You're a traitor, and I'm gonna kill you because you're a traitor. Boom, end of conversation. He should have walked out of that fucking room with a clean conscience. So, but for some reason, it's like, and I don't know if it's. I initially wanted to say it's because she's a female character that had some sort of agency in this, and that's why he needed to make kind of a spectacle of her death. But also, we had the Aletha Hellgate character that we just read, where she just got fucking smoked, right, by Coot. So it's not that she was female necessarily that he gave her this big kind of grandiose death. She's really not even much of a character now that I think about it, because like the few times that she's out here and talking and like interacting with the main characters, she's basically like a plot device. And it's just strange. It's just strange the fact that like this Jade Falcon, who has been fighting deprivation, fighting the Lyrans, fighting probably pirates that are trying to take advantage of the chaos in the hinterlands, trying to keep this rebellious population in check. Even if he doesn't necessarily believe in like the overall like Mongol vision of what the Jade Falcons are, which is probably why his ass was left there in the first place, he would still be pretty goddamn hard. He'd be a hard man. And I think for him to show some kind of weakness about a SIB cadet that was captured, integrated into a mercenary unit, then feigned loyalty back to the clan, betrayed him in his the Falcons that are still loyal. Like, this should, there's no like, no, I'm not, like, she calling him Desgra, he would have been like, he should have been like, no, I'm not. Boom, end of conversation. It's just, and then, like, the mech fighting is really stilted. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy the way it was written. There was that one paragraph where Aletha kind of made the point of, like, hey, she's this mech warrior, whoever the hell this was, that just got turned into a fucking grease fire stain. I'm going to send a nice letter, and they're going to get a medal, and we're going to tell the parents, like, it's like, I actually like that, because that reminds me of kind of like a Gundam type thing that you would see in, like, Gundam, where it's like, this Zaku pilot basically said it's a Gundam and then died instantly, but we're gonna send his family a medal and like a nice death note saying that he died a hero of Zeon, right? So, like, I enjoyed that from that perspective, but man, it's like, ugh, man, this one was just agony. I don't know. This was bad. This is like, there's different types of bad, right? There's like the Nighthawks chapter, which is like that movie The Room bad, where it's like you're reading it and it's like you can see what the creator is trying to do. You can see what the author's intent is or the director's intent is, and it just fails on literally every fucking piece that it tries. And then you go to these chapters, which is just like depressing bad. Like, I'm not even enjoying the mech fighting. Like, that's one of the whole reasons why you buy a BattleTech book, is to read the cool characters and the mech fighting. None of these characters are fun. None of these characters are cool. None of the mech fighting is particularly well written. And it's like, and now I'm just kind of like sad. I'm just depressed slightly. I'm like, damn, this shit's making me sad, bro. Man, this is, yeah, I don't know about this one, guys. This was just like, it's just bad. Meeting Scoutmaster Kevin behind the lodge for a cave explorer bad. I don't know. It's not Scoutmaster Kevin bad, but it's pretty goddamn bad. By the way, it just random, since I really don't want to talk about these chapters anymore because I'm just fucking disgusted. I took my son to a scout troop meeting, and my ex-wife, we kind of pair off, and we kind of take responsibility for doing those things. It's fine. And she's like, hey, can you cover? I can't take him tonight. I'm like, okay, that's fine, no worries. So we go to this thing, and my son's 9, and all the other kids in the troop are right around his age, and these kids are acting like feral animals. And the scoutmaster is like, he has like no authority, he has no presence, he has no control over these kids. He's just like, okay, kids, and he's putting up the peace sign. All right, guys, quiet, kids. And like, they're just ignoring him. And so I'm sitting in the corner with the rest of the moms, and I have my arms crossed, and I'm like, I can feel something ancestral burning up through the back of my throat. It was like bile, but it was like that ancestral dad rage that like is handed down through, your grandpa to your dad to you, and then you get to pass it on to your kids as like yelling at them, right, as a dad. So I'm feeling this just burning my brain up, and I'm like clenching my fists together, and like I'm got like a tight rein on my emotions, and I just have to put my brain in like neutral gear. I have to put myself in the nothing box, and I just like zone out while I let that feeling wash over me because it's like, oh, and then it's like I kind of find my center because I was gonna I was gonna traumatize these fucking kids. I would not have been popular at that scout troop meeting, but I managed to keep it locked in, even though the kids weren't particularly helpful. My kid was fine because he knows that when an adult is speaking, you pay attention to them as opposed to the rest of the fucking crotch animals. The animals with the book touched you. They removed the heat sink and swapped it out for an ammo bin. No, dude. Oh god, JC. What they actually did in an earlier chapter is the Atlas that was being piloted by Chiang Mai was taking so much damage from like half a dozen ghost dog mechs, and they're like, "What the hell? What's going on?" And what it turns out is the cleaner stripped out all the ballistic weapons and all the ammo bins and replaced it with armor, which is not how BattleTech works. So it's like, bro, what the fuck? Suppress the old dad rage. Yeah, hell yeah. Watch my two boys look at the others with their own what the hell face. Yeah, it's to my credit, I was able to keep it on lock, and I dropped my son off. You know, I complimented him. You did a great job. You paid attention. You were smart. Blah blah blah. I look at my ex-wife. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with that scout troop leader? He had no authority whatsoever. And she's like, I don't know. I guess I wasn't paying any attention to him. I'm like, yeah, none of the kids were either. And I'm just thinking to myself, if I behaved like any of that with at my scout troop, my after we got home, my dad would beat me like a rented mule. Like it would just not be a question the level the category 5 ass whooping I would have been dealt if I behaved like that in front of my dad while a scoutmaster was trying to talk to us. So oh man, Jesus Christ, this was, yeah, I'm sad now, just kind of like sad and achy. Like you can feel the book is trying to build to something, right? You've got the sense that like, okay, the ghost dogs have kind of pulled off this charade, and it's building to something, but it's like it's like I'm being blueballed and there's no payoff, you know? Like there's no, it's just unpleasant. I just don't enjoy it. Tomorrow, taking the 4-year-old on a scorpion hike where we've got UV lights and trying to see critters. That's pretty cool, dude. If I start talking nonsense even more than usual, and like my left arm starts going fucking numb, I would not be surprised. Oh yeah, my son loves the animal shows. He's big into like mythology and like cryptids and shit like that. So like he has several books of nothing but cryptids, and he likes going out and being outside and whatnot. So it's fun. He's a fun kid. He's a good boy. Um, but yeah, no, it's uh yeah. So I guess kind of ran out of shit to say about this book for right now. You know, I'm getting kind of tired of this goddamn book. I'm about halfway through it actually, so I might start trying to read more than 3 chapters at a clip. I might start reading like 24. Let's see. There's 24 so chapter 24. Holy fuck, my fuck my life. Chapter 52 is the last chapter, and then there's an epilogue. So I've got whatever that arithmetic is left of this cocksucking book to take care of. Good Lord. Oh. Fast first I have a stroke on me. Yeah. Brian traumatized me. Yeah, he's traumatized the man, he's traumatized BattleTech with this bullshit, bro. It's bad. I'm not a fan. I gave his first book that I ever read from him. I gave it a shot, gave up halfway through. Like, it was, what was it was the one that covers the Jade Falcons that were kind of stranded in the OZ, but like on Sudeten or Sudeten, Sudeten. I always pronounce the Sudeten. It's probably not right, but fuck it. And that book was so bad I gave up halfway through. Because I'm like, this is some extra strength bullshit. This is terrible. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, sweet shit. Cool shit, man. But yeah, effectively, MechWarrior Coot. And I don't think MechWarrior Coot is dead. I honestly don't think he is. I think Hellgate is dead. I think Coot is alive. I think that the Ghost Dogs are going to attack the city that the Lyrans are in, and they're going to have a tussle with the Agile Rabbits mercenaries, and those mercenaries are either going to declare their job done or fuck off and run for the hills and break contracts. So there's only a fun, and that's the thing. It's like it's not even fun predicting what's going to happen in the rest of this book. It's just a fucking chore. So, because you can kind of see where things are going. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion. It's bad. So, oh, good Lord. Oh, it's a new hero. Yeah. I haven't decided yet if I want to continue on doing the book reading on Thursdays, although it has been a lot of fun doing that. We'll see. But this has been, yeah, so far, we're halfway there. We're halfway there, guys. We're halfway to the finish line. And I'm excited to continue this weird little thought streaming experiment that I'm doing. You guys make it a lot of fun. Your reactions say it all, and it makes me feel good that I'm not going crazy myself. It just feels great. So if I'm going crazy, I'm taking you all with me. So I think that's where I'm going to wrap it up for today. So I want to thank you guys for participating. Thank you for watching. Thank you for engaging. If you guys want to like, share, subscribe, do all that YouTube pleasantry, I have a Stream Elements link. It was originally bad, but now it is good. And I have a Ko-Fi donation link in the description if you guys want to participate. Basically, toss a coin to your Witcher. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. You guys are a pleasure to have on stream every night, every time I stream. And I will see you guys next week. Later.